So hello gamers and welcome back to another video. Wow, Phantom Forces just got an actual main game update, and wow, this one is controversial. There's a ton of stuff to talk about. We're gonna go through all of it because there's been some really weird tweaks as well. Starting it off with the AK-12. This gun now has a new model that was in the test place before. It's now in the game, and it also has better recoil, better minimum damage, and better minimum damage range. Also, the bars barrel basically only locks it to burst, gives you a tiny bit of like a burst delay type deal, and increases your headshot multi. The bars barrel on the AK-12, it doesn't really change that much stuff anymore. It's very similar to normal. Also, this game is running like garbage for me. I don't know. I'm getting crazy, like stuttering. Shouldn't show up on the video. It's pretty interesting so far. Wow, this gun kind of beams though. Wow. Next up is a change to the AK-47. They actually made it quieter. No other changes, but that's a great change because in my last video where I used the AK-47 in a bunch of different ROBLOX FPS games, I recommend you go check that out. I had a suppressor on this gun because it was too loud. It was so loud. There's also a change to the AKM. It has better overall damage, better overall multis, and slightly higher penetration. You might be able to kill with one headshot and one body shot. Yeah, 58 and 42. Yes, one headshot, one body shot, 265 studs, which is pretty good. They also changed the shotgun ammo types on this. Now they have 500 RPM and 30 rounds, which is insane. I don't think they can one-shot. Okay, not quite a one-shot, but it is like 70 damage to the body, which is kind of insane, not gonna lie. This game runs like 40% slower than it did. That is pretty crazy though. We have the soft point ammo type, which is a slug conversion that really doesn't do a ton of damage. Like, you can't one-shot headshot. Kind of just feels like a really bad DMR. I don't know why you would use this. The AK-103 has better overall damage, but it does have slightly reduced min damage range, which shouldn't really matter too much. The main thing here is that bars barrel has reworked recoil, which feels not terrible, I guess, but they did give it reduced damage, and it's no longer able to almost 4-hit all ranges, which might make it not that good anymore. Oh my gosh, still like 3-shot. Oh my gosh, this game is running horrible. I'm getting half the frames now. I just checked. That's crazy. Also, 5.56 has higher muzzle velocity, but not that big of a deal. Next up, we have the worst change of this whole update. Maybe. I don't know. There's tons of bad changes in this update. The AK-12BR now has much higher damage, and if you're running armor piercing, it can 3-hit kill all ranges, which is good. It has better headshot multi, better torso multiplier. It has way worse handling, and the burst is not there anymore. So yeah, the main selling point of this, So the main selling point of this gun, which if you didn't know, it was the hyperburst. It's gone. You can no longer hyperburst this gun. You know, the whole point of the AK-12s, which is that they have that 1000 RPM burst, which has really high recoil, but it's kind of like the selling point of this gun. It's the only reason I have so many kills on this gun. It's gone. It's just not even there anymore. Yes, it can 3-hit all ranges. It might even technically be better other than the camera shake, which they didn't fix. So now, yeah, horrible. They made the 7.62 conversion better. It does have a 3-hit now. Could be good, I guess. It's not good. Also, they removed the hyperburst at the start from this. The other main thing that made this cool is that it fired a hyperburst right at the start, so you could get faster time to kill if you landed your initial 2 shots, which was kind of cool. Like, it was a cool gimmick. Now that's gone because we don't want anything cool on this gun. We want this gun to be the most generic garbage. They also changed the 50 cal conversion. This now can 4-hit kill all ranges, which is pretty nice. I don't really think most people care too much about this conversion. Like, it's a fun conversion, but I don't know. The main thing I liked about this gun was the hyperburst, and that's gone. So I don't think I'll be using this gun anymore, which is really sad because it was one of my favorite battle rifles in the game. Every time I was running this gun, I was using the default ammo and just spamming it with the burst, and now that's completely gone. And if you're wondering why they removed the burst, it was for realism. This gun is not real, by the way. This is not a real gun. So they changed a fictional gun to be less fun for realism. There is some good news, which is that my highest kill gun got a buff. The G3 now has slightly better muzzle velocity. 45 ACP was renamed to 45 Super. It has way better damage. It now has a headshot multi. It does have reduced muzzle velocity, but this is a really cool conversion. Now, when this conversion first came out, it had a really high headshot multi. Then for some reason, they removed that, even though the entire point of the G3 is the headshot multi, which is probably not realistic. So they're probably going to remove that next because all the fun gimmicks of guns are just not, like, they're not realistic. I think this gun having a 2x headshot multi is awesome, especially considering this conversion was horrible before. And I just cannot aim because of this freaking frame rate. In terms of Performance, this is probably the worst update I've ever seen for any game ever. It's insane. I need to have a toggle to like disable all of these shadows. Like the new shadows are just, maybe if I turn off global shadows, my frame rate just jumped by like 60 and I can't even tell the difference. All right, there you go, guys. Disable the shadows. Maybe this is way better. I'm still getting like 80 less frames than I was before, but it's better than losing like 120 frames. So maybe this is all right. I'm not gonna lie, this actually feels pretty good now. Guys, I fixed the update. Maybe this update is slightly better. Just kidding, it still sucks. Look at this, I can actually play now. Next up, we have the HK417. This has better min damage, better headshot multi, and better overall handling. Another cool thing is that if you put this gun in semi-auto, it actually has significantly lower recoil, which is honestly very, very cool. It's 20% less, but it lowers your fire rate to 450. But I think this is the one time that using semi-auto on a gun might be kind of fun. They also did rework the recoil, and it feels really, really accurate now. The HK417, ever since it was added, it wasn't really that good. So I do like seeing this become, like, unironically pretty good. Next up, we have the AK105, which by default actually got a quite nice bump. It has great recoil now, better damage. It's very, very good now. And the squad barrel on it is now a AK-74M barrel. This makes this gun a 4-to-4 shot, which is really interesting. It also increases your fire rate. Keep in mind, you can't 3-shot with this, and you can with the default gun, but it's really cool because you do get really good muzzle velocity or fire rate, and it's probably not realistic, so they're going to remove it next update. I don't know how this barrel would make your fire rate higher, so we got to remove that from the game. Listen, I talked about this like whole we need to make everything realistic problem before they even started doing it. I just heard that they were going to start doing it, and I was like, that's a horrible idea. And then they did, and yeah, it ruined a couple guns that I really like. Now, finally, the AK-107 got a nerf to its recoil. Let's take a look. Okay, it's still pretty accurate. Yeah, it's got vertical, but you can just pull down slightly. I think this is a slightly more skill-based version of it. It also had some overall stat changes. It's cool, but I still feel like it's quite accurate, to be honest with you. I don't know how much of a nerf this is, but I do like to see them finally nerfing guns that are really OP. I don't know why it took them this long to change it, but whatever. Yes, they went through with removing launch tech. Very cool. One of the most fun parts of this game. They just removed that as well. Next up, we have the Cannon Marble Jar. You also have .17 HMR blanks, which give you really good handling, but terrible muzzle velocity. I don't really recommend them, especially with the jar, because they have 160 velocity. I highly recommend you get 50 Beowulf blanks if you're going to use this ammo, but it is very much a meme, so I would not recommend really using it unless you're trying to have fun. Oh, actually get decent FPS on this map. But it looks terrible now because I have to turn off the shadow. Also, I completely forgot to say, you can no longer disable the daylight cycle, and now there is a random time of day set every single time. This is also due to the new lighting. And I don't completely blame Stylus Studios for the new lighting and how awful it runs, because Roblox removed the old lighting, so it's not really their fault. Roblox sucks. Anyway, this ammo type is basically a 28 pellet shotgun that does really low damage and has really bad muzzle velocity. It is not really intended to be that good. I know it's crazy for a meme weapon. Just another funny meme ammo type. I do like seeing these in the game. We probably will get them all removed because they're not realistic. Okay, next up we have the M60 change. It has a new reload animation, new firing sound, reworked recoil, and they did some decent changes to this right at the last minute, literally like the day before this update dropped, where they actually removed its ability to 3-hit kill all ranges, which is very good. Also, you can see it has a bunch of different stuff, but the reworked recoil is quite low, and now it always has 600 RPM. The recoil feels quite good, I'm not gonna lie. Still feel like it'll be a pretty solid gun, to be honest. But now it has an assault box for only 50 rounds, but better handling. And now this assault box is actually probably going to be the meta, because armor piercing no longer gives it that 3-hit all ranges, which is really cool because I like faster handling on weapons. And this is giving you better handling. They also have depleted uranium, which is very much a meme ammo type. It gives you essentially negative damage range. You go up in damage. You also have really high muzzle velocity and pen. And this also reduces your fire rate and makes your recoil horrible. Wow. This can 2-hit kill headshot all ranges, and the muzzle velocity is really high. So I feel like as a meme, putting like a 10 times on this gun and then using it as like a 2-shot DMR would be pretty fun. Then you have the 5.56 kit. This can actually 4-hit kill all ranges with torso shots, and you get 125 ammo and really low recoil. This is basically the Stoner 96 again. Like, we already have this in the game basically, but I guess it's a low rank version of it. It might even be better, I'm not gonna lie. So maybe don't use the stoner anymore and just use this instead. Like, the stats are very, very similar. Honestly, I feel like this one's better. It has more ammo, it has more velocity, it has more fire rate. RPK got a much needed nerf. It can no longer 3-hit all ranges with armor piercing. It has reworked recoil, and it does have a 75 round drum mag now. Okay. Oh, interesting. That is such a goofy animation. I can see where they're going with it. It could be really cool, but yeah, PF just does not have that animation quality to make that look really cool. Throwing it out like that and putting it back in, like it's an AK mag, would look really cool. I do like having a new animation on it. Very cool of them to actually add an original animation, because before it was just the Scar Hammer one. Overall, I'd say decent changes to the RPK. I don't know why it has such high recoil now. It was like a little bit too much, to be honest, but it's probably still fine. The RPK 74 got a buff. It now has better range, damage, min range, and aiming speed. The recoil is kind of insane on this gun now, and the damage is similar enough to the RPK that, yeah, this is going to be way better than the RPK, which is why I don't understand why the RPK has so much more recoil. Overall, though, pretty interesting. I think this gun actually might be like low-key kind of meta. The fire rate isn't great, but it has a great 3-hit kill range and a great 2-hit kill head range. It's still a 5-hit all ranges, but it has a good 4-hit kill range as well. We had some grenade nerfs, which are pretty cool. The Mark II frag now takes longer to throw. The M26 frag got that bouncy effect, which is really cool. I might just start using this as my main one just because it's funny. The M560 you now run slower with, and it does less damage. The RGD5HE now takes longer to arm. It has, you know, it doesn't roll as far, and it also does less damage. You can still kill like over 25 studs away with it, which is still pretty crazy, obviously, because I just died from 37 studs away with it. RGN UDZS now takes a little bit longer to prime, and it also has reduced running speed with it as well. The RGO now has horrible walk speed and takes a really long time to arm. But keep in mind, that's the one-shot grenade. That's a impact grenade, which is crazy. Next up, we have 22 conversions on all of the SA80 guns. That's the L22, L85, and L86. This gives them really, really low recoil, essentially non-existent recoil, a really high headshot multi, but kind of bad close-up damage, and not great velocity, unless they change the velocity. No, they did not do what I said they should probably do with this gun. The Zip 22 with Rat Shot, which is a shotgun 22, has 60% more velocity than the L22, which is a bullpup carbine with no shotgun conversion. I don't know why this has such comically low muzzle velocity. I mean, it's a very cool conversion, but realism and also balancing. I don't feel like 1000 velocity is necessary for this. I don't think it's going to be very good to begin with. Technically, you can 2-hit kill headshot all ranges with this one, which is really, really cool. But yeah, with that 1000 muzzle velocity, as you can see, it's hard to even track people from this range. It feels like you're shooting Nerf darts. It's horrible. Look at that. Increase the muzzle velocity to at least the same as the Zip 22. It's a pistol with the same caliber. It doesn't make any sense. I would take fun over realism, obviously, but this one's not either. They also nerfed the Loudener attachment. The Loudener attachment now has reduced suppression. People were using it with the M107 with 416 bear rate, extended mag, all that kind of stuff. And they could get really high suppression, so I guess that's to combat that. Most of the stuff sucks, the game runs worse, and they removed launch tech. So overall, a really bad update, I'm not gonna lie. Usually I'm pretty nice on updates, but this one is just, I feel bad because it's not their fault they have to use this new lighting, but they need to pick something else that runs better and not push this until it actually runs correctly, but they already did, so it's too late. Subscribe if you're new though, and like the video, but I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.